Tonight on Smackdown Live, we had ourselves the start of two major tournaments. One making its inaugural debut, and one that was defined by WWF way back in the 1980s. Didn't make its pay-per-view debut till 1993. It was a staple that was held right here in Providence, Rhode Island, back in the day, and now has become quintessentially one of the biggest tournaments that wrestling has had. And despite the long wait, it has finally returned to WWE and will culminate at the Crown Jewel event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in just a couple of weeks. This was the King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown Tournament. Tonight, opening round matches began, and we got that predominantly on Smackdown Live. On AEW Rampage, CM Punk goes one-on-one, plus the two title matches were held, the AEW World Tag Team titles and the FTW World title were on the line, as it was held in a Philly street fight. Only fitting it happened in the Philadelphia. What's up, everybody? It's good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony the Hitman Floyo, the Phenom, Michael Bullock. This is the Cerebral Smack Talk, because when it's Friday night, you know what time it is. Let's go, people. You know how we do it. Smackdown Live first, then we hit it with Rampage right behind that. So, like we said, we start off with WWE. We're starting off with Smackdown Live. And this time, guys, we were playing for keeps. As we said, as tonight, we were at the SAP Arena, or the SAP Center in San Jose, California, the home of the San Jose Sharks, exclusively on Fox. We started it off with a contract signing, as it was Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks. And in the immortal words of Michael Bullock and the immortal words of Anthony Floyo, whenever a contract signing happens, it tends to go wrong. And yes, a lot went wrong with this one, but in a good way. Chaos ensues, but 2 of the 3 signed. Becky signed a little later in the night, but it is official. It's happening. Crown Jewel, triple threat, title on the line. But at the end of the night, Bianca Belair gets the big leg up as she stacked both Becky and Sasha through a table. That's going to be very interesting to watch. Just because of what happened on the draft, I hate to say it, Sasha most likely will become the new SmackDown Women's Champion coming out of Saudi Arabia. I just don't see her. I just don't see any way where, because of the fact that both Bianca and Becky are both going to Monday Night Raw in a couple of weeks. Because remember, these switches do not take effect until after the show in Jeddah. So, obviously, Sasha was left on SmackDown. Great pickup for SmackDown. And that because of the fact that Becky most likely will be taking that belt, she's going to Saudi Arabia with the belt, but she's not coming home. She won't be coming back to the United States with that belt. I think Sasha Banks will walk out of it as she'll become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. That means at some point between now and a couple of weeks, that means that Charlotte has to drop the Raw Women's title at some point. We just don't know when or to who she's going to drop the belt to, but she will eventually drop the belt to someone. So, nothing more to say. This was a solid opener. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
This was short and to the point. All three women said their piece, and Bianca Belair got some measure of revenge against the women that laid her out in recent weeks. It was a good heater for the crown jewel bout, which could possibly be the show stealer of the night. Although we have a lot of matches on this card that will be just that. I can honestly say it's the most stacked Saudi Arabia card I've ever seen, probably since the very first Saudi show, the Greatest Royal Rumble. But ultimately, everyone involved has already said their piece when it comes to this bout. It's hard to imagine there is much more that can be gained with segments like this. It's time to get to the match, although we have one more Smackdown to get to next week. Next week will be the go-home Smackdown for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, because it's going to be on a Thursday afternoon, October 21st. It's going to start around high noon, 1 o'clock, right around lunchtime, basically. So it's going to be, it'll definitely be a nice lunch for me. I'll be on my working hours at that point, but still, I mean, it's going to be a nice little bonus. That'll definitely help me get to my workday. Absolutely. So can't wait to see that. But for right now, I've said my piece. So, but actually, there is one more thing, and MF mentioned it. Becky and Bianca both got drafted to Raw. Sasha drafted to SmackDown. It's got to be Sasha. It has to be Sasha Banks that walks out of Saudi Arabia with the SmackDown Women's Championship. So, and then at some point, the Queen's going to have to drop the Raw Women's Championship. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. But for right now, solid way to start. MF nailed it. I've said my piece. So Phenom Michael Bullock, come on in. Great way to start off the quote-unquote season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown at the Shark Tank in San Jose.
Yeah, this was definitely a great way to start off the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown with this, and yeah, I mean, we all know what the outcome is going to be, and you guys just mentioned it. I think we all are in agreement that I think it's going to be Sasha Banks to basically walk out of this as the champion, because, like you said, both Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch were drafted to Raw, so yeah, this has to be the result. And like you said, at some point the Queen's gonna have to drop the Raw Women's title. When? Who knows? But this was a solid opener, and yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Let's move right along, Fletch.
It is time for the King of the Ring, the opening match of the King of the Ring tournament. Sami Zayn goes up against Rey Mysterio. Sami Zayn advances to the semifinals, winning it in roughly 8 minutes. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
Solid. I'm going to give this a solid 2.5 to 3 stars for the effort. This was a solid match, even though it moved slower than expected. Sami Zayn has benefited from his own mind games, setting up Dominic to get in the way of his father's bid for the King of the Ring. Since the Mysterios are soon heading to Raw in 2 weeks, it is important that this story reach a natural conclusion. It will be important for Dominic to find his way on his own and earn his father's respect beyond Zayn's influence. The Great Liberator moves on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament, where he will await the winner of a very intriguing match. A match that I'm going to go as far as to call a Guru MF Michael Fletcher special. Anyways, Zayn is unlikely to make the finals, but it would be exciting to see him finally get his due. So, we'll have to wait and see on that. But for right now, 2.5 to 3 stars for this effort. So, not much more for me to say on this. Michael Bullock, like it or not, lame duck man. will advance into the semifinal next week in Ontario, California, against the winner of that very intriguing Gudel MF special. Don't give that away.
Yeah, 2.5 to 3 is my rating for this as well. I mean, like it or not, Lame Duck Man, I mean, he moves on. Obviously, the whole Ray and Dominic saga obviously continues, and the reason why Sami Zayn basically was able to move on. So, yeah, we'll wait and see how all that goes with this. So, but for right now, yeah, basically this is a 2.5 to 3 star match. Fletch, like it or not, I mean, we may not like Lame Duck Man, but he moves on.
Yes, he does. He moves on, and he will be playing, like you said, the winner of the other match that was also done here tonight between Cesaro and Finn Balor. We'll get into that in just a little while. But yeah, solid match, 2.5 to 3. It was a good battle. It was a good battle, and we now look, Sami Zayn. What was the one thing that he was saying? That it's a conspiracy, everything else. But if you notice, after the match was over, he went over to that area where the throne was, and they have 2 thrones, guys. They got one for the men and one for the women. There's a King of the Ring setup, and there's a Queen's Crown setup for both winners. And clean enough, Sami Zayn does advance. Yes, Dominic Mysterio did get involved. Sami got in his ear before the match. Dominic did come out, and there was a moment where he was trying to help. He noticed that the turnbuckle pad was pulled off. He was trying to do the right thing. Ray telling Dom, get out. No, don't. Thinking, oh, I'm cheating. No, he wasn't cheating. He was trying to put the turnbuckle pad back. That blew up in their face, and it caused Rey Mysterio. He's out of the King of the Ring. And now he's got to have to deal with the consequences. His son just cost him a golden opportunity to be the King of the Ring. But Sami Zayn, resourceful enough, advances to the semifinal, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Next up we had, guys, the first ever match in the Queen's Crown tournament. It was Zelina Vega versus Toni Storm. Zelina Vega advances to the semifinals. She knocks out Toni 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Michael Bullock, we don't really need to get into this, but oh my god, I think we could consider this an upset. Zelina goes over and wins clean, by the way, 2-10.
All right, yeah. Look, Fletch, I got respect for Zelina Vega, and she deserved this win, but I got a little gripe here. Toni Storm, you bring her up to SmackDown, and she really hasn't done that much. I just don't get why. And now you have her lose to Zelina. But like I said, Fletch, I'm not trying to rip your girl. She won the match cleanly, but to me, the wrong person went over. I thought this should have been Toni Storm's moment. I'm not saying that she was going to win it, but at least to get her into the next round. So, look, all in all, congratulations to Zelina Vega to moving on, but as far as my opinion goes, the wrong person went over. That's just my opinion. I don't know where you stand on Fletch.
I partially disagree with you, Michael Bullock. And it's not because of that. it's because of the fact that I kind of feel like something had to give here. Yes, Tony Storm has been underutilized, has been criminally underutilized as of right now, but Zelina also has been criminally underutilized right now. Neither one has been done right by WWE Creative. I'm just glad that Zelina got over because I think her, and don't get me wrong, Tony's going to get her moments, and I get that. But if you really think about it, Zelina has never, ever since she came back to WWE, has gotten zero opportunity for any push whatsoever by WWE Creative. This is the first time she's actually legitimately won something that mattered, in my opinion. So, yes, I do agree with you that maybe you can go either way on this one, but I partially disagree with you, Michael Bullock. Even though I do feel for you, and I do agree that Tony has not had any success yet. And look, she was very good in NXT, hasn't panned out as of yet in on the main roster. But if you really think about it, neither has Zelina. And you can nitpick on either way. You can nitpick this. But big factors. 1, Zelina gets the victory. 2, she beat her clean. That's the bigger thing. It was a solid victory. It was a sound victory for Zelina. So I got nothing bad to say about it. I know. Look, the match should have been a lot more longer. I think that's the biggest gripe I had. 2:10, very little match time. I think they deserved longer. I agree. I'll give you that. But as far as it goes, I really have nothing bad about this. Yes, I understand where you're coming from, Mike Bullock, but I agree to disagree. I'm more in the way that Zelina deserves this moment, and she deserved that victory. She got it tonight, which is huge win for Zelina. One of the bigger wins that she's had. Maybe this is a start of something good. I don't know. But at the end of the day, this is a great outcome, at least for me, thinking, bigger picture down the line. But remember, she also has to deal, because she's on that bracket, the winner of the Carmella versus Liv Morgan. We'll get into that later on in the night. Anthony Florio. We don't have to talk about the match because the match was a complete utter dud, but let's talk about the moment. Are you with Michael Bullock? Are you with me? Where do you stand on this factor, on all of this?
Where do I stand? I'll tell you exactly where I stand. But before I do that, I'm actually going to get into the match for just a moment. Toni Storm and Zelina Vega have wrestled before, and none of their matches so far have accomplished much due to the time they have been given. Storm has all the talent in the world to have a competitive match against anyone, but she has not been able to show that at all. Sorry, Bullock, I got to go with MF on this one. Zelina Vega is finally picking up wins after an embarrassing streak of losses upon her return to WWE. While she has been used regularly, Friday Night Smackdown has not shown nearly enough trust in her to carry matches. If this Queen's Crown tournament is going to be something, and more importantly, work, it is vitally important that the matches make an impact. To sum it all up, each women's match should get equal time to the men's. Period. And a statement and a quotation. Dud match. Well, no. I'll give it 1 star for the effort, because there was actually a little bit of some good stuff here, but pressed for time. Although you know the word I really want to use, so I'm not gonna go there. You know what I'm thinking. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Sorry, Bullock, I got to go with MF on this one. So 1 star for the effort. I'll give it that. So not much more to say. MF, let's move on.
All right, then we did move on. We had a promo segment by Roman Reigns. with the bloodline. Mainly it was Roman and Paul Heyman. This was really good. Really good storyline, really good action. This really was very intriguing, and it also leaves the question: where is Paul Heyman's loyalty? Is he truly on the side of the tribal chief, or is he playing a long con, a la Neil Caffrey and Mozzie? Are they playing the long con? Is Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman playing the long con game? And is that con going to come up at Crown Jewel? We're just going to have to wait and see. This was really good. Anthony, I really got nothing more to say. This was definitely segment of the night, at least in my eyes.
And Matt, you just made my night bringing up that white collar reference. That's great. I mean, MF, as we little backstory, MF. If you're wondering who Neil Caffrey and Mozzie are, they were characters on one of MF's all-time favorite shows back in the day on the USA Network, a little show called White Collar, and MF was a huge fan of that show, and that's where he brought up Neil Caffrey and Mozzie. So, yeah, shout out to the late great Mr. Willie Garson. God rest that wonderful soul. What a wonderful man he was. But anyways, I mean, MF nailed it. This was the segment of the night. This was a fantastic promo, especially from Paul Heyman. He has leaned into the cliches for a while as a speaker because it works to control the crowd. However, it can also take away from the weight of his words in the biggest moments. Luckily, the special counsel is good enough to use his own cliches to his benefit. His message to Brock Lesnar worked because it was clear how much he meant it. He gave Lesnar a message that could get him in serious trouble with the Beast Incarnate. It should be interesting to see what the fallout is for this moment, as long as Lesnar sees the message. He is noted before to watch TV, so there's no doubt about it. That was the segment of the night. 100% agree. Michael Bullock, I mean, Phenom, I don't know what else there is for me to say on this except if Brock Lesnar does hear that message and he shows up, Paul Heyman, all of us have a message for you, and that is, Heyman, move your ass and get out of Dodge.
Huh. Couldn't have said it any better there, Florio. I mean, yeah, this was a great promo here. I mean, especially from Paul Heyman. I mean, he's basically shown that his loyalty is to the tribal chief, and saying that Lesnar has no chance to unseat the tribal chief at Crown Jewel, and yeah, like you said, Florio, you know Brock Lesnar is going to see this, and basically, Heyman, you better choose your words wisely, because now that Lesnar may have seen it, and if he shows up with a response, you better not be there when Brock Lesnar shows up, because he's probably going to take your and Fledge, as I give it to you, if Lesnar finds Heyman, where do you think Paul Heyman's going to?
Suplex City. Oh, by the way, Brock Lesnar will be in the house next week.
Oh boy. My final advice to Heyman: don't show up next week, because a trip to Suplex City could be in the cards for you. Fletch, it's yours.
More like poo-poo city, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, by the way, just to let you guys know, but programming note for all you fans who's wondering, next week SmackDown Live is moving to FS1 because of Major League Baseball playoffs. That's going to be taking over. So Major League Baseball playoffs will be going on Fox. So FS1 will be taking over, and they're calling it supersized SmackDown Live next week, FS1. Check your local listings for the date and times in your area. For all you Cox Communication fans, that is channel 85. So all you Cox subscribers in the Rhode Island, I think it's Rhode Island, Massachusetts, in the Northeast, It's channel 85. Anthony, why don't you hit us? I know you're a Dish Network subscriber, Florio.
That is correct.
All right, then why don't you hit the Dish fans? What's the FS1 on Dish?
That would be channel 150.
Okay, so there you go, guys. Like I said, check your cable provider or satellite provider, whatever you have. If that is Dish, if that's DirecTV, if you're a Cox subscriber, if you're a Verizon subscriber, or if you're just a subscriber to cable, or if you don't have that, you can also get it on the app, Fox Sports app, on your phone, on your tablet, on any digital device around the world. Okay. All right. Was there something you wanted to add there, Florio? I noticed you.
What I was going to say real quick was my program guide actually has Friday Night Smackdown, not just on FS1, but it's also listed on Fox. I'm sure they got to update that, and I'm sure they will update that soon enough. Yeah. That's news to me. I didn't know that was going to be on FS1 next week.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be I thought they were going to save that. I thought they were going to save that for the World Series.
No, I believe it. I believe it's also going to be for next week, because I also noticed it on. I actually did notice that they were promoting it on FS1 during the show tonight, Florio. I don't know how you guys missed that. All right, but anyway, so next up we have is another Queen's Crown tournament match, as it was Liv Morgan versus Carmella. Carmella advances to the semifinals. She will take on Zelina Vega. Now, that's an interesting matchup. Zelina versus Carmella. One-on-one semifinal is set next week. We don't have to talk about this one. It was in a minute and 40 seconds, so we'll just move right on along. Then we had a promo by Happy Corbin. We're not getting into that. Then Naomi talking about why was she not in the Queen's Crown tournament. Sonya Deville's like, you know what? You don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve the spot. You don't deserve the moment. And she's like, you know what, Adam? I'm done with this. Send me back to Monday Night Raw. And Sonya's like, no. You want a match? You got it. Next week, SmackDown, you're going to have a match. You're going to go one-on-one with somebody. Who? Sonya Deville versus Naomi next week. Boys, yo, it's happening.
Finally.
It's going down.
It's about time.
Yes.
I mean, this feud the tension for this has been palpable. It's been building and building and building and building, no doubt about that. But MF, real quick,
sure.
As far as what happened with Carmella and Morgan goes, that was a dud. That was the worst fight. That was a ho hum diva fight. Let's be realistic. That was that was straight up ho hum diva fight.
Agreed.
I mean, I thought I was having flashbacks to friggin' 2002, 2003, or for goodness sakes, or something like that. But it is honestly insane how disrespectful, and yes, I'm going there, how disrespectful SmackDown has been with its women's division, outside the untouchable stars, of course. It feels like we are verging on another hashtag give women a chance movement once again. It didn't even last 2 minutes. It was clear from the outset that the women were rushing, given how quickly they went for their signature moves. However, it was even worse than expected. This possible feud ender was short for no reason. Morgan versus Carmella has lost so much momentum quickly, and the main goal, putting over Liv Morgan, has already failed. She would have made perfect sense to make a run in the Queen's Crown tournament. Instead, Carmella versus Zelina Vega next week might go 3 minutes if they're lucky. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say on that, but
if you really think about it, Anthony, and here's the thing,
yes,
maybe this is them taking a swipe at Monday Night Raw, because remember, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Zelina, they're all heading to Monday Night Raw. Maybe this is them kind of playing damaged goods, like look who you're getting. You're not getting anybody special. I mean, I don't want to be that kind of a guy, but that's the vibe I was getting from all of the Queen's Crown matches tonight. Because if you think about it, think about this.
Yeah.
First round match. Tony Storm and Zelina Vega.
2 minutes.
Tony is going to be on SmackDown, but Zelina's going to Raw. And then you had 2 Raw women going at it one-on-one, and they literally got no time whatsoever.
None.
Now, I'm more optimistic about the other side of the bracket because we got Shayna Baszler in there.
Yes, the Monday Night Raw side of the bracket, which, no disrespect, the better side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Because of Shayna Baszler. I mean, you got Shayna Baszler, and she's going to be squaring off against Dana Brooke. And on the other side, you're going to have Natalya squaring off against Doudrop. So I'm a little worried about that Doudrop and Natty match because you remember the last time they got together,
what happened. Natty got hurt. Natty got hurt bad. Yeah.
But thankfully, it wasn't too severe. She didn't need surgery, and she was only out a few weeks, and she came back after a brief hiatus. Thank the Lord for that. But what I wanted to get into I wanted us to have a fun little Gorilla and Jesse moment on this one because you got Carmella and Zelina. You know, we're gonna have a little throwback to WrestleMania 4 when Jesse brought up a possibility of Andre the Giant and the $1 Million Man Teddy DiBiase meeting in the WrestleMania 4 tournament. Now that we're gonna see Carmella and Zelina go here, MF. I mean, I'm trying to see if I can remember the exact wording here. I think I can. What would happen here? Maybe MF could have come in with maybe a money will talk situation with Carmella, or with Carmella moving on, or would Carmella let Zelina move forward, feeling that she's the unbeatable woman? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that.
I kind of feel like both women are gonna go for it. I just because it's the Queen's Crown tournament. You want to be the first ever winner. I genuinely don't believe I don't believe that we're gonna see a lay down or anything else like that. I don't think that. No. I think the competitive nature of both women are gonna come out. I hope that they at least give them ample time, though. That's Agreed. The only concern I have.
100%.
But we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, this should be a solid match. But I'll openly admit, I think Carmella has to be the favorite going into that match, going to the final, possibly.
In a sense, I agree. But if you ask me, I think Zelina's the more deserving. If I'm going to.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, 1,000 times agree with that.
Yeah, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But next week, and oh, by the way, I just found a dirt sheet, and this dirt sheet actually came out at the end of August, back on August 28th. This dirt sheet came out, and it must have slipped my mind. 2 of the next 3 weeks. Next week on October 15th, and then 2 weeks after that on the 29th. Friday Night Smackdown will be moving over to FS1 due to baseball playoff coverage. It's the National League Championship Series next week. And then on the 29th, it's obviously the World Series. So there's not much more for me to say on that. That match was a dud. I just wanted to get that off my chest, MF. So if I threw you off, I apologize. But if not, let's just move on.
That's fine. You didn't really throw me off. You only just set us up for the main event, which was Finn Balor versus Cesaro. Finn Balor advances to the semifinal, 11 minutes, 25 seconds. Oh my God, boys. Fight of the night, best fight of the tournament already. 3.5 to 3.5 stars. This was awesome. This was amazing. There was really nothing more to add on this one. So 3.5 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
Absolutely 100% agree, MF. Fight of the night, no doubt about it. 3.5 stars. As always, Finn Balor and Cesaro deliver. 2 of the best wrestlers in WWE right now. They brought it in a match that felt more like it would have been worthy of the finals, not the quarterfinal. This is basically WWE's version of the Dodgers and the Giants, if you will.
Yeah, agreed.
Because the series that they're currently going on right now is more worthy of the NLCS more than anything else. But it's a shame that the Swiss Cyborg is out after one round. He is the perfect wrestler for the King of the Ring tournament with his endurance and unyielding strength. While it made sense for the Prince to win, Cesaro did not have to face Balor in round one. Balor is very likely to defeat Sami Zayn as he has in the past, which makes the Prince the true front runner to win the King of the Ring tournament at this point. It could be a great moment to heat Balor back up after his tough luck loss to Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. So, break it down for you when it comes to these tournaments. The King of the Ring and the Queen's Crown. Four from Raw, 4 from SmackDown. The SmackDown competitors are going to battle on one side. The Raw competitors will battle on the one side. And both finals will take place at the Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia on the 21st. And how fitting, MF, that both of them are the final match on both sides. It's going to be Raw versus SmackDown. So early bragging rights before we get to the ultimate night of bragging rights, of course, which is my favorite event of the year, the 35th annual Survivor Series. 35 years. Wow, that's awesome. But second longest pay-per-view behind WrestleMania, of course, and my favorite event of the year because of my love for the traditional Survivor Series elimination matches. But anyways, you see the SmackDown side, look at the Raw side. On the Raw side, we got Kofi Kingston squaring off against Jinder Mahal, or as I call him, Jinder Mahal, thanks to Kurt Angle, because he called him that on a Raw. But the other match, MF, you want to talk about a potential show steal. You thought Balor and Cesaro was a great, hard-hitting, smash-mouth physical match, a la you? Think of what Xavier Woods and Ricochet can do.
Yeah.
That's got show stealer potential. I mean, with the body of work of both of those guys, I wouldn't be surprised if they steal the damn show Monday night in San Francisco. I wouldn't. So take note, SmackDown guys. I mean, that's really all there is to say there. So 3.5 stars, 100% agree, MF. I mean, I called this an MF special because I know these are two of your favorites, especially Cesaro. But I also know you got love for Finn as well, mainly going back to his Prince Devitt days in the old Bullet Club and the whole 9 yards. I know you got mad love for him, but you also could have called this the underutilized Bowl because here are two guys who have both been criminally underutilized over the years. And, you know, what a great, I mean, could you imagine, MF? Could you imagine if Finn Balor, after coming, I think, closer than anybody to dethroning the Tribal Chief, could you imagine if he were to somehow win this whole damn thing?
It'd be awesome. You know what? The Prince would become a king right before our very eyes. And I think that would be one of the big narratives of why we would think that Balor could actually win the King of the Ring. And it's because he is one of the most over guys in wrestling today. He is one of the most recognizable figures around the world. And I know he is loved in Saudi Arabia. So imagine him being coronated in Jeddah as the King of the Ring on that night. So, I mean, without a doubt, that would be a huge moment for Balor. And you know what? That would be the biggest win of his career since becoming the Universal Champion, the first ever Universal Champion back at SummerSlam when he knocked off Seth Rollins.
2016,
So, I mean, without a doubt, it would be a huge moment for Finn Balor if he should some way, somehow walk out of it the winner of the and what a way to be heading off to Monday Night Raw. I would claim it would be a SmackDown victory because he is under SmackDown
for now.
But he would be heading to Monday Night Raw as the king of the WWE if he wins the whole thing. So, oh yeah, it would be awesome.
And he's definitely the front runner. And what right now, he's my projected favorite right now. I mean,
I agree.
No matter who comes out of Raw, I mean, as long as it's not Jinder, any of the other three guys, Kofi, Xavier, or Ricochet, any of those three guys will give Finn Balor one hell of a try. Abso-friggin-lutely. So
I got a funny feeling. You know what, Anthony? I just thought of something.
What?
What if it is Jinder Mahal?
Oh, good God.
I mean, I kind of got.
It'd be a Raw win. It would be a Raw win, but he's going back to SmackDown along with Shanky.
Yeah,
he's got Big Shanky coming with him.
My goodness, I mean that would be quite a story for Jinder Mahal too. I mean, former WWE champion, his biggest success was on SmackDown. Now he gets to head to SmackDown as King of the Ring.
And also a former U.S. champion when the U.S. title was on SmackDown.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe we might be talking about the final of the King of the Ring. Jinder Mahal versus Finn Balor. I think it's very possible.
And him being, quote unquote Punjabi, and that's right around, that's almost Saudi Arabia anyway.
So. Yep, that would be in the Middle East. Agreed.
Yep. So that would be something, but if anybody could get a passable match out of him, it would be Balor, no doubt about it. Balor could definitely get a passable match out of him. Any of the other three guys, like I said, Kofi, Xavier, or Ricochet, that's an easy pass match right there, because the body of work of all those guys, of any of those guys, would match up well with Balor, no doubt about it. But get back to me on the women. I'm still, but then again, there is someone on the women's side that I got a good feeling about, and that's Shayna Baszler. I think she's the favorite on the women's side. So, especially with how she's been built the last few weeks. I mean, taking out Nia Jax and Eva Marie, and she was going to add Dana Brooke to her collection before Doudrop intervened. So I think they're setting up for Shayna Baszler and Doudrop to meet in the semifinal, or as I call it, the Raw final. And whoever wins that will move on to Saudi Arabia to face the SmackDown representative, either Zelina or Carmella. So, we'll have to wait and see. So, a lot to think about. A little time, so little time, because, we only got another week or two. So, before we get to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, that's where it is. It's Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see. So, did Bullet go?
No, he has not.
All right. So, but anyways, 3.5 stars. Bullock, if you're with us, I apologize for us rambling on, but hopefully you're Bullock. If you're with us, let's get your thoughts on all this. 3.5 stars. Great matchup here. You knew you were going to be in for something special when those two got together. So, Bullock, are you there? Yeah, I bet we lost him. I bet we did. Well, we're just going to have to move on.
So then we led to the main event of the evening. That was a promo segment by Seth Rollins, basically saying that he was going to challenge. Oh, Mike. All right. He's still here. All right. Bullock, Balor versus Cesaro. Balor moving on.
Yeah, 3.5 stars is my rating for the match. I mean, this was a good match here. I mean, to me, I would have been fine with either one of them moving on. So, but yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. Now let's get to the Rollins segment.
Yeah, Rollins segment, and then it was interrupted by Edge, and Edge comes out. A brawl ensues after the brawl was over. Well, Edge laid down the gauntlet. Hell in a Cell. Oh my God, Anthony, is Saudi Arabia? Do they realize what's about to happen?
Now,
They haven't officially announced any place or any location, so we can't say that. But the rumors going around that it could be in Saudi Arabia.
Think about that for a minute. The Hell in a Cell in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. You sure they can get away with that with the Saudis? You think the Saudis are gonna? You think the Saudis are gonna be? You think they're gonna be cool with that? Because we know how they are. We know how they can get.
Oh yeah.
So but my God, I mean, oh my word, my Lord in heaven. I mean, I don't know what else there is to say on this. I mean. Wait a minute. Hold on a second, gentlemen. I think I might have found something. All right, .com is promoting it. It's going to be in Saudi Arabia. It's happening. Oh. It's happening. It's happening, boys. It's going to happen in Saudi Arabia.
Riyadh, get ready.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, pardon my maniacal laughter for a minute. I mean, I can't help it. I mean, holy guacamole. I mean, this is really going to happen. It's on .com. If it's on .com, you know it's going to happen.
Official, yeah. If it's coming from WWE.com, forget it. Yeah, I mean, that's as authentic as you're going to get. There's no dirt sheet for that, folks.
Seth Rollins versus Edge has built to a fever pitch over the past month, especially. This is as strong a story as WWE is telling at the moment. It is personal, and each match is better than the last. The two have been competing at the highest level to deliver the best product possible. Hell in a Cell is meant for rivalries just like this. It will be fun to see what Rollins and Edge can do together in that structure. The Messiah has a rocky history in the Cell, but much of that has been out of his hands. This could be one of the best men's Hell in a Cell matches in years. Think about that for 1 minute. So there isn't much more for me to say. This was the other segment of the night, of course. The only one that I thought was, better was the Heyman segment, but this was right there. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, Angry Edge is always the best Edge. It's going to happen. Hell in a Cell, Saudi Arabia, brace yourselves.
Seth Rollins, all I can say is you just opened up Pandora's box, especially with your actions last week when you invaded Edge's home and did all those things, because you just woke up an angry Edge, even more angrier than we've ever seen him before. So much so, he wants to take you to hell with him. Hell in a Cell. And these two going at it, oh man, I cannot wait for this. And for Seth Rollins, there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. You're going to be trapped with an angry Edge that's really pissed off after the heinous actions you pulled last week. Oh man, this is something. I cannot wait. This is another one of the segments of the night. Fletch, like I said, Rollins opened up Pandora's box, and now he's going to have to deal with it.
Absolutely. This is going to be crazy, man. I don't think there's really nothing more to add. When you open Pandora's box, man, oh my God, there's really nothing more to add. This is going to be an insane tournament. Probably nothing more to say, but oh my goodness, this is going to be wild. We're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out, but I will say this will be one hell of a match. And now it's now official. It's gonna happen at Crown Jewel. Oh my word, man. They're making this the biggest and the best show ever. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, give me your final thoughts on SmackDown Live before we get into AEW.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this about a 6 out of 10. I mean, you had some good matches. You also had some short matches. You also had some pretty good segments here. But to me, because of some of the matches that were like really really short, this is why I can only give it a 6 out of 10. Fletch, it's yours.
Agreed, 6 out of 10. Really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, six and a half. I mean, the King of the Ring matches were far better than the Queen's Crown matches. The three segments all delivered in spades. Especially Heyman. That was Heyman's personal best in a long time. We all know Heyman's great, but I think that might have been his best in a long time. I can't remember the last time Heyman cut a damn good promo like that. That was great. And then that closing segment, oh my goodness, that's going to be. This could go down as one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches, if not the greatest. I mean, right now we have Triple H and The Undertaker from WrestleMania 28, the end of an era, as the current greatest right now. If this one gets the time it deserves and they let them tear loose, look out. That's an instant 5-star classic and a match of the year candidate for sure. That match alone just made this the most must-see, most stacked Saudi Arabia show card of all time. And I can honestly say, I have never been more excited for a Saudi Arabia show than I am for this one. Let's go. Nothing more to say. So 6.5. Let's get to Rampage.
Yeah, we're going to go very quick. We started off with CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia. CM Punk wins the match in 14 minutes and 9 seconds. Fight of the night, 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. Solid match all the way through. Yeah, there was some interference in the match that kind of negates it a little more. Keeps it away from the 4-star rating, but it was still good for what it was worth. Punk looks incredible. Daniel Garcia kept the pace up with CM Punk. Solid match, very good wrestling match to say the very least. 3 to 3.5, and Anthony, it's yours. Or 3.5 to 3.75, I should say. I stand corrected. But Florio, it's yours.
Anthony, you there?
Did he just forgot to unmute his mic, or I think what happened is I think his mic froze up for a second because of his computer, possibly.
Yeah, that could be the case. I'll take it first spin while we're waiting.
Yeah, go ahead, Bullock.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. I agree with the rating. I mean, yeah, I mean, because of the interference, like you said, it did take away from a potential 4-star rating. So there's really nothing more to say. So I don't know if Florio has got it fixed yet, but if not, Fletch, let's just move on to the next thing on Rampage.
Yeah, I'm gonna hope. You know what? I'll give Florio a little bit of time. Don't worry, Anthony. It's all right. There he goes.
No. I had to step away for a moment. I had a family emergency, but I'm all right. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's okay. So, anyways, yeah, that was the fight of the night. I mean, 3.5, 3.75 of a star. The pre-match split screen interviews are a quick and effective way to hype about. Mark Henry has gotten more comfortable in his role as an interviewer as well. They were able to tell a coherent story in this bout. CM Punk was the veteran who wanted to show these young guns he could still hang, while Daniel Garcia wanted to prove he was better than the veteran. Punk did a good job selling Garcia's offense. He did it enough to make the young superstar look good, but Punk still managed to get the win. This was a fun opening bout that allowed Punk to show off some of his technical skills against one of the best new workers in AEW. So 3.5, 3.75 of a star. Now let's move on to a World Tag Team Championship matchup.
Yes, it was the Acclaim versus the Lucha Bros. Lucha Bros wins in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
5:15?
Yep.
I thought it was a little longer than that. I must have. All right. But anyways, I could probably give this about. I'm going to give it 2.5 to 2.75 of a star. Those three little words that we always like to say, fun little sprint. Having the Lucha, now MF, if you noticed, the Lucha Brothers had another piece of hardware with them, a piece of hardware that you know very well, more than myself and Bullet combined.
Yes, that was the AAA World Tag Team titles.
And I read a dirt sheet saying that we might be seeing some AAA tag team title matches in AEW with the Lucha Bros very soon. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But having the Lucha Brothers carry the AAA tag titles and the AEW belts to the ring helped make them look like a big deal. AEW has done a decent job using titles from other companies, but it feels like we are seeing these belts appear more often recently. When you have a match with a breakneck pace like this, a few missteps are bound to happen. What matters most is how they recover from those mistakes, and both teams excelled at making things that may not have been intentional look good. The match was a little on the short side, obviously, because the first one went so long, but the action was good from start to finish. 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. Michael Bullock, fun little sprint. Nothing more to say.
Yeah, it was a fun little sprint. 2.5 stars is my rating for this, so nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, 2.5 stars, no doubt about it. We're just going to move right on along. Jay Cargill versus Sky Blue. Jay Cargill wins the match in 1:07. That's not going to be talked about. But this will Ricky Starks versus Brian Cage in a Philly street fight for the FTW Championship. Winner of the bout in 10 minutes and 37 seconds. And still the FTW World Champion, Ricky Starks. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, this was a fine match here. I mean, I'll give it 2.5 to 3 for the effort here with these two, but there was no doubt that Ricky Starks was going to hold on to that title. So nothing else to say. Fletch, it's yours.
I'm going to give it the 2.5 stars. I didn't like the ending because of the overbooked finish, even though I kind of should have known that was going to happen. But, this is one of those things. I don't know if this is because of the comments that was made by Melissa Santos about basically blasting AEW, saying that her husband deserves an opportunity. I don't know if this was their way of kind of sticking it to him, or if it's just to add to yet another angle in the storyline. But whatever the case may be, absolute Ricky Starks does find a way, gets the job done, and successfully defends the title. So, Anthony, it's yours.
I will give this about 3 to 3.25 stars. Second best fight of the night. Matches with a lot of weapon spots are tricky because if they don't produce any blood, it doesn't look convincing. Ricky Starks showed a little color toward the end to make it look good. Ricky Starks is already a great performer for somebody so young, so it is going to be interesting to see where he is in 5 years when he really hits his stride. This match was good and the finish made sense. Starks picks up a big win, but he needed help to do it, so Brian Cage doesn't suffer much from the loss. 3, 3.25 overall review.
I mean, it was an average AEW Rampage show. The only really good match that I thought of this entire night was the CM Punk versus Daniel Garcia. It was fine. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was kind of in the middle here. But I'll give it a solid 7 stars. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. I mean, Punk and Garcia fight of the night. The Philly street fight, the second best fight of the night. The tag title match was a fun little sprint, and then Jade's with a delicious squash over Sky Blue. So 7 out of 10. But we got a live show next week from Miami, and this is actually where we're going to see Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, and TNT champion Sammy Guevara against Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and our old friend from the UFC, MF, former UFC World Heavyweight Champion Junior Dos Santos. Dan Lambert will be there, and he'll also have Jorge Masvidal, and I know you know him very well.
Gamebred, yeah. We got Chicano and Gamebred in the building next week. Big deal,
Yep,
big deal.
We know them both very well because of our UFC days. But anywho, that goes down next week. And I think CM Punk's wrestling on that show again, too. And but it's going to be a loaded show, so it's going to be great. So not much more to say. 7 out of 10, Michael Bullock.
Yeah, 7 out of 10 for me for this. I think you guys pretty much talked about it, so let's put a bow on this.
All right, and we are out of here. So tomorrow night is NFL Saturday, hosted by Anthony Florio. We're going to go through week 5 of the National Football League, all the games. And then Monday night, we do it all over again with Ridiculously Raw, hosted by Anthony Florio. And until then, thank you, Michael Bullock. Thank you, Anthony Florio. Thank you, everybody. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom. Share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. Have a good night, everybody, and so long for now. Bye-bye.